Hey, it's Debbie Potts, and I am doing a short seminar for you, or I guess this would be a webinar to go over some information that I keep posting on the podcast and social media. So I wanted to share some visual aids with you on the YouTube channel. So if you are feeling fat, puffy, slow, exhausted, despite doing all the right things, you feel that you try to get help from other places and they just say, you're just getting older. And you have to understand these new symptoms that you have are not going to be your new normal. You don't have to settle. There is a way to improve the whole you from the inside out so you can thrive as you age. So what I love to do is help investigate what's actually going on and do more of a root cause investigation to put the missing pieces of your puzzle together. So I am a longtime personal trainer, health coach, metabolism testing I've done for years, since 2005, and doing it again now. I was doing New Leaf. Now I use Pinoy metabolism testing equipment and an FDN practitioner and more. But what I'm focusing on now is putting all the information I've gained over my 30 years to help people in middle age be their best self in the future and understand when you're doing all the right things and you're still not getting the results. We have to not feel that you are going to be stuck that way, or you're lazy or unmotivated, just getting older. Your midlife metabolism is reacting to stress, to hormones, the nervous system load, and recovery capacity. Losing weight is not just about calories in your workouts. We need to understand when stress levels are high, chronic stress, cortisol will rise. Belly fat doesn't go away. When you're not recovering from your workouts, your muscles do not grow. When you do not prioritize protein, and the right type of protein we'll go into, you will lose lean body mass. The more lean body mass you lose, the slower your metabolism becomes. And when your brain does not feel safe, your body is going to hold on to that fat. And this is something I've done a lot of episodes on my podcast, on the audio version podcast. Find out more on my Thursdays and Sunday episodes where I do a deep dive rabbit hole of different topics. When your mitochondria are sluggish, mitochondria create energy, ATP, and our fat burning metabolism is basically broken. And as we have more chronic stress, our hormones are going to shift from stress, but also from aging. But we can't blame that. What used to work doesn't work anymore. Let's go into the why. So we'll go into a few different episodes to keep this short and sweet and talk about muscle protein synthesis, how to eat and get your ideal protein goal in each day, as well as working on what is your ideal day? What should you be doing to be your best self? Let's start with how to improve muscle health. So body composition, it changes. I know I'm 54 suddenly. I still think I'm 45. So what used to work does not do the same thing anymore, right? So we in our 40s and 50s and beyond, as we just went over, our hormones, our stress load, our metabolic efficiency all shift. And as high performers, we push harder. We're type A to AAA, and we end up with chronically elevated cortisol, lower DHA. So we're more breaking our muscles down rather than building up, and leading to what's called, today we'll go over, muscle protein synthesis is reduced. Slower recovery, all this changes the rules of the game. So in order to get the results we are looking for as we age, rebuild metabolic flexibility, increase our lean body mass, support the nervous system, optimize digestion and nutrients, train with attention, fueling, strategic fueling, and understand that midlife is not metabolic decline. It's a recalibration, a time to redo what we're doing and set up a new FutureYou program. So when we match your training and your fueling and your stress level recovery to your own physiology, you will unlock the strongest, leanest, most resilient version of you, the FutureYou program. Understanding what muscle protein synthesis is about, the building of muscle fibers. And this happens when protein intake exceeds protein breakdown. It's needed for muscle repair and muscle growth after we exercise. Hormones as insulin and testosterone influence our muscle protein synthesis rates. So that's why we need to change what we're doing as those hormones get a little bit lower as we get older and we get insulin insensitive or resistance. And then we talk about amino acids and the leucine threshold theory, how they play a critical role in stimulating MPS. So number one, MPS is a process of building muscle fibers. Why? Muscle is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. This cycle is called muscle protein synthesis or muscle protein turnover, and muscle protein breakdown is a catabolic process, breaking down the muscle, versus muscle protein synthesis is anabolic process, building up. So your total muscle mass, the balance between these two. To gain muscle or prevent muscle loss, muscle protein synthesis must exceed muscle protein breakdown. And this is why MPS is the foundation of strength, improving metabolism, improving your quality of aging to be healthy from the inside out, as well as recovery. Number two, MPS occurs when protein intake exceeds protein breakdown. Everyday activities create muscle protein breakdown, just simply being alive. To overcome breakdown, your body needs essential amino acids, energy, ATP from your mitochondria, and signaling to build muscle. Anabolic is build and mTOR is that pathway. So when we consume enough protein, the amino acids enter the bloodstream. Muscle cells must use them to rebuild and repair damaged fibers. But if the amino acid supply exceeds breakdown, then we get muscle growth. And this is why protein timing, the dose, digestion, and distribution matter, especially as we age. Number three, muscle protein synthesis, repair and growth muscle after exercise. Why does that matter? Strength training creates micro tears in the muscle fibers. These micro tears creating damage is going to activate the satellite cells, muscle stem cells, mTOR signaling, increased amino acid uptake, higher demand for protein. Exercise acts as a stimulus, and muscle protein synthesis is the repair response. So without MPS, we would not adapt to the training. Without adequate protein, the repair process is incomplete. So this is why people can train hard, but still lose muscle if they undereat protein or do not stimulate mTOR. Next, number four, hormones is insulin and testosterone. How do they influence MPS? Well, insulin helps shuttle amino acids into the muscle cells and suppress muscle breakdown. Even small rises in insulin after eating help turn on MPS. Remember, it's the Goldilocks effect for everything, not too much, not too little. Testosterone increases satellite cell activation, protein synthesis, and muscle repair. Other hormones, as growth hormone helps boost tissue repair, IGF-1 supports hypertrophy, estrogen protects muscle and really improves recovery. And this is super important for us middle-aged females. So as our hormones shift in midlife, the muscle building signal becomes less strong, which is why protein and strength training become even more important. Number 5, amino acids. Leucine threshold theory. Why does this matter? Leucine is the amino acid that triggers mTOR. mTOR is a master switch of muscle building. To activate mTOR, we have a higher muscle protein synthesis, greater muscle repair, better training adaptations. The trick is here, younger adults just need about 2 grams of leucine to activate mTOR to help stimulate muscle protein synthesis. But in middle age, we need more per meal with all the other essential amino acids, but 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine amino acid within all the other amino acids needs to be present. Plant proteins, by the way, are harder to hit the threshold without combining or supplementing because the leucine amino acids are mostly just animal based. So higher dose is needed as we age because we're more anabolic resistant. So foods highest in leucine, you can see chart on the right, and looking at leucine, 40, 50 grams. Say if I get steak and eggs, 58 grams, I get 4.5. And you can add on salmon, turkey chili. So looking at different ideas, how to create meals or stack protein together to have muscle growth and maintenance and not lose muscle. So key thing is to remember that no leucine in that meal does not stimulate as much muscle protein synthesis. We need the leucine to turn on muscle protein synthesis for that mTOR pathway. And higher doses are needed as we age due to anabolic resistance. So muscle protein synthesis does decline with age, not because aging is the problem, but because digestion, hormones, mTOR signaling, amino acids, blood flow to muscles, anabolic resistance. All this can be reversed. So why I always say, don't blame the aging process, embrace it, do things differently. Almost everything can be improved on. As here, we can stimulate muscle protein synthesis and restore it, higher protein intake, leucine-rich meals, strength training, better digestion, hormone balancing, improved blood flow, mitochondria support, and testing, as with PNOE or other metabolism equipment. So we want to optimize MPS with the leucine threshold. So that means getting 30 to 50 grams per meal with about 1 serving or 1 meal, you'll have about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal. So you have to figure that out. Now, protein, to get enough, we want to look at 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight and focus on that 30, 50 grams spread out evenly through the day, especially research shows, as Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talks about, first meal and last meal of the day. Ensure protein is consumed after exercise. Support recovery is key as well. So post-workout, best time to have protein-rich leucine after your exercise. The body's most receptive to the nutrients during post-exercise window to help repair and rebuild and trigger the MPS. So that's when I might do a shake or I just do perfect aminos. Usually I work out first thing in the morning and then have breakfast with my cottage cheese and probiotic yogurt that I make and get some berries. So I get the carbs and some fat and some protein in there. So why do we lose muscle as we age? Number 1, not really in order, but the first one, lower ability, decreased ability to digest protein. After age 40, we don't have the same amount of digest enzymes and stomach acid. And I've done many episodes on stomach acid, but understanding that lower stomach acid means poorly broken down protein, which means less amino acids entering the bloodstream. And this is one of the biggest reasons people say, I eat plenty of protein, but I'm still losing muscle. So think about before you eat, getting that parasympathetic state. Take 3 breaths in, long exhale out, activate that digestion nervous system. Take some bitters, apple cider vinegar and water, some lemon mixed together. Have some digest bitter drops you can put in water. Chewing your food, eating mindfully, eating slowly. Next, gut and liver hijack more protein. The problem here is that with age, the gut and the liver actually retain more amino acids for repair, leaving less available aminos for muscle building. So this means the protein gets stuck in being used for gut repair and less available for muscle tissue. So what we want to do is really focus on gut integrity, focusing on getting a gut protocol. I just did my GI map and I'll do a new protocol for that. But if I have dysbiosis, inflammation, I want to know what's going on under the hood. So that's why I say test and not guess. And then support liver detox pathways first. Really focusing on, before you do any protocol, that you always get the drainage pathways open first, activate that vagus nerve, and get the body the nutrients it needs for phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox, as well as bile ingredients need to be usually improved. Now, increase your protein per meal. We'll talk about ideas for that, and use leucine-rich proteins to overcome that barrier. And adding omega-3 fatty acids improve amino acid signaling. Postprandial amino acid availability decreases as we age. So aging reduces circulating amino acids after a meal, but that's so easy to fix. So doing something about it, instead of going, oh, this is what happens as I age, well, you have something to do. So take ownership for all these changes and stop complaining and do something different. So even if your digestion improves, fewer amino acids make it into the blood. So increasing meal protein intake. Using whey protein can help boost plasma amino acids. Add leucine or essential amino acids if using plant proteins. I use Body Health Perfect Aminos. You can get it with my code. Eat 3 to 4 protein-rich meals a day. Time protein around workouts. And this can help overcome decreased plasma amino acid levels. Number 4, we have less postprandial blood flow to muscles. So blood flow to the muscle after eating decreases with age. Less blood flow, fewer amino acids are delivered to the muscle. So this is a major reason older adults experience slower recovery and less muscle growth. Again, that is easy to fix. So let's focus on prioritizing strength training. Add nitric oxide boosters as N101 lozenges we get from Dr. Nathan Bryan's company. I've interviewed a few times. Perform light walking after meals. Move. Don't eat sitting down and go sit on the sofa and watch TV. Get up and walk around. Move. Use cold hot contrast therapy. That can be, use a shower, do it, have a shower, and then finish on cold. Turn it all the way down to cold and then back up to hot. You can do hot, cold, 20-second intervals. Now, improving cardiovascular fitness, more zone 2, and figuring out if you're doing too much zone 3, we want to do metabolism testing to identify what are you doing too little of or too much of, and what's working for you. And then improve better delivery of nutrients to the muscle. Now, number 5, we get decreased muscle uptake of amino acids as we age. So as the muscle cells become less responsive to incoming amino acids, we have this anabolic resistance is the term. So even when the amino acids are available, muscles don't grab them efficiently. So solutions, guess what? Lift weights neuromuscular fatigue. I do 3 to 5 sets for different exercises, maybe, or 3 different exercises per body part. And then I do it different days depending on my workout. But say you do workout twice a week, let's try to get 3 times a week. You might want to do a total body workout, but pick a few exercises, and you're going to do 3 to 5 sets of the exercise, 3 to 5 reps to muscle fatigue. Then we want to train type 2 fibers, heavier load, working on power, and eccentric training is beneficial to overcome this anabolic resistance, increasing your leucine, improve insulin sensitivity with fat burning type of exercise, working around your peak fat max, and adding creatine to help increase intracellular energy as well as for your brain. And training is the most powerful tool to improve amino acid uptake. Number 6, we lose anabolic signaling, that mTOR. So as we age, we talk about mTOR, the master switch of muscle building. With age, the mTOR pathway becomes less sensitive. The same stimulus doesn't do the same thing. So proteins are not activating muscle protein synthesis as they once were. So more protein, more stimulus is required. What to do about that? Again, how to eat differently. 30, 50 grams per meal with that leucine, strength training, heavy weight, sleep, carbs, protein post-workout, and creatine omega-3s. Number 7, we have lower transportation of delivery. So amino acids don't get delivered. They don't get delivered into the muscle cells. So we can do this strength training that increases transporter activity. Omega-3 fatty acids improve cell membrane fluidity. Hydration electrolyte supports cellular transport. Phosphatidylcholine improves membrane integrity and improve mitochondrial health, AMPK activation. So the FutureYou project would be looking at your protein meal outline, meal planning, your strength training, your sleep, your stress management, how you're building resiliency, your morning routine, your evening routine, all that together. Looking at what you used to do doesn't work as well based on hormones lowering, that leucine, and meals for turning on mTOR muscle repair. So Dr. Lyon talks about the 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight to prevent muscle breakdown. So at minimum, 100 grams of protein per day. And top leucine meals, some examples. Leucine-rich foods, of course, are whey, protein isolate, get grass-fed. If you look at fish, salmon, tuna, cod, beef, chicken, mostly animal-based. So we have to figure out the best options and understand nutrient density and being able to get the nutrients from the food with proper digestion. Now, strategies to improve nutritional deficiencies as we age. Just a side note to add good vitamin D rich foods and get natural sunlight in the morning, but foods with vitamin D are fatty fish, the egg yolks, fortified dairy. Remember, vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, and that actually plays a role in muscle strength. And omega-3s are important, a salmon, mackerel, the smashed fish to reduce inflammation and support muscle function. Magnesium is important in B vitamins, essential for energy and red blood cell activity, and consider organ meats and lean meats. I don't eat organ meats, but I get body health organ caps I take. And then antioxidant rich foods as blueberries. So FutureYou, supporting my mitochondria, improving digestion, blood flow, protecting your gut and your liver, your bile flow is really important, and getting the right testing. Thyroid levels often are low, but we need to understand the why. So we dig deep, look at 3 to 5 labs, look at genetics, do Pinoy metabolism testing, get the whole picture, and understand what we need to start with, where to start, work on the foundation. So if you have any questions on what you need to do differently, let's schedule a call and go through, men and women, what do you need to do differently as you age? The protein recommendations are going to be higher for women, I feel, than men can get away, but looking at Dr. Gabrielle Lyon's research and her guidelines to stimulate muscle protein synthesis is, again, that 2.5 to 3 grams leucine per meal to activate mTOR with 30, 50 grams. And how things change our estrogen, muscle sensitivity to protein, anabolic resistance. This is just repeating what I just said, but hormonal health, cell health, as we need healthy fats for cell membranes and help muscle repair, muscle growth. The omega-3s we talked about to reduce inflammation, hence muscle recovery and heart and brain health. And we need vitamins A, D, E, and K from healthy fats. So we need to get our healthy fats and get our essential fatty acids and our essential amino acids from our food. Looking at your first meal of the day, your last meal of the day, leucine-rich sources, figure out meal planning. So think every meal is a muscle opportunity, not just getting calories in and then stacking nutrition, lifting, getting creatine, and working on recovery, strength training for your vagus nerve, and looking at your meals that you're having and not snacking, that you're getting the right type of foods for your body. So ideal strength and protein, and then looking at meals we can go over next time. But just think, what is best for you? What is ideal program? So that is part 1. We will talk next time and dive in a little bit more. So I appreciate you listening, and we'll go into some meal ideas on part 2. Thanks for being here and taking care of the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method and working on the FutureYou project.